CGTFOIR Iran-Iraqi militias attacks on Saudi Arabia Iranian-US conflict in Iraq international incidents. The 2019 to 2021 Persian Gulf crisis is an ongoing intensification of military tensions between the Islamic Republic of Iran and its allies and the United States of America and its allies in the Persian Gulf region. Starting in early May 2019, the US began a build-up of its military presence in the region to deter an alleged planned campaign by Iran and its non-state allies to attack American forces and interests in the Persian Gulf and Iraq. This followed a rise in political tensions between the two countries during the Trump administration, which included the withdrawal of the US from the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, the imposition of new sanctions against Iran, and the designation of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps as a terrorist organization. In response, Iran designated the United States Central Command as a terrorist organization. Several merchant ships in the Persian Gulf were damaged in two incidents in May and June 2019. Western nations blamed Iran, while Iran denied involvement. In June 2019, Iran shot down an American RQ-4A surveillance drone flying over the Strait of Hormuz, sharply increasing tensions and nearly resulting in an armed confrontation. In July 2019, an Iranian oil tanker was seized by Britain in the Strait of Gibraltar on the grounds that it was shipping oil to Syria in violation of European Union sanctions. Iran later captured a British oil tanker and its crew members in the Persian Gulf. Both Iran and the UK later released the ships. Meanwhile, the US created the International Maritime Security Construct, which sought to increase overall surveillance and security in key waterways in the Middle East. According to the United States Department of Defense, the crisis escalated in late 2019 and early 2020 when alleged members of the Kataib Hezbollah militia, part of Iraq's Popular Mobilization Forces, killed an American contractor in an attack on an Iraqi base hosting U.S. personnel. In retaliation, the U.S. conducted airstrikes against Kataib Hezbollah's facilities in Iraq and Syria, killing 25 militiamen. Kataib Hezbollah responded with an attack on the U.S. Embassy in Baghdad, which prompted the U.S. to deploy hundreds of new troops to the Middle East and announce that it would preemptively target Iran's proxies in Iraq. Days later, the commander of IRGC's Quds Force Qasem Soleimani and PMF commander Abu Mahdi al-Mohandes were both killed in a U.S. drone strike, resulting in Iran's supreme leader Ali Khamenei pledging to exact revenge on U.S. forces. The U.S. deployed nearly 4,000 troops in response to the tensions, and Israel heightened its security levels. On the 5th of January 2020, Iran ended its commitments to the nuclear deal, and the Iraqi parliament passed a resolution to expel all foreign troops from its territory. The US and Iran nearly entered into an open conflict on the 8th of January 2020 when the IRGC launched ballistic missile attacks against two military bases in Iraq housing US soldiers in retaliation for the killing of Soleimani, a rare direct Iran-US confrontation and the closest to the brink of war between the two nations in decades. Upon initial assessments of no US casualties, the Trump administration curtailed tensions by temporarily ruling out a direct military response, but announcing new sanctions. It was later revealed that more than 100 US troops sustained injuries during the attacks. During the crisis, Ukraine International Airlines Flight 752 was shot down after departing from Tehran Imam Khomeini International Airport, and Western officials said the plane had been brought down by an Iranian Sa-15 surface-to-air missile. On the 11th of January 2020, the Iranian military admitted in a statement that they had mistakenly shot down the plane due to human error. On the 8th of May 2018, the United States withdrew from the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action nuclear deal, reinstating sanctions against Iran. Iran's oil production hit a historic low as a result of these sanctions. According to the BBC in April 2019, United States sanctions against Iran led to a sharp downturn in Iran's economy, pushing the value of its currency to record lows, quadrupling its annual inflation rate, driving away foreign investors, and triggering protests. Iranian officials have accused the US of waging hybrid warfare against the country. Tensions between Iran and the US escalated in May 2019, with the US deploying more military assets to the Persian Gulf region after receiving intelligence reports of an alleged campaign by Iran and its proxies to threaten US forces and Strait of Hormuz oil shipping. US officials cited intelligence reports that included photographs of missiles on dhows and other small boats in the Persian Gulf, supposedly put there by Iranian paramilitary forces. The US feared the missiles could be fired at its navy. The US began a